Okay, so tariffs have been a trending topic for the past few days, and people are asking questions about what this means for the US, what this means for Canada and Mexico, and some people simply just don't understand what the play is here. So let's talk about it. These new tariffs are simply a game of understanding leverage. Who has it and who doesn't? Right now, we have business leaders in office who understand the art of negotiation, and they understand that the ball is in America's court. Now, what does that mean? Let's look at it from the perspective of GDP. For those who don't know, GDP is essentially a big scoreboard that totals up all of the money that a country makes from everything that it sells. That includes cars, fruits, clothes, etc., even things like haircuts. So what does that mean for each of these countries? Well, let's just take a quick look at the numbers to see who has the leverage here and who doesn't. Mexican exports to the US as a percentage of their GDP is 35%. For Canada, that same number is 22%. Or in other words, 35% and 22% respectively of everything that those countries sells goes directly to the US. Now let's look at it from the perspective of the US. US exports to Mexico as a percentage of GDP is a whopping 1.2%. Not to say that it's insignificant, but it's 1.2% compared to 35%. Now, if we look at Canada, US exports to Canada as a percentage of GDP is an even larger 1.5% compared to 22%. Who do you think can afford to play this game longer? Do you think that Mexico is going to risk 35% of their GDP? No, no, it's not going to happen. And we have leaders in office who understand this. And what we're doing is we're forcing them to the negotiation table. And let's clear up some misconceptions here, because I see a lot of people saying this too. This has nothing to do with America wanting to be the bully, but it has everything to do with Americans finally saying we're not going to be bullied anymore. To put more context to that, drugs like fentanyl, which are manufactured in China and then smuggled into the US through our southern and northern borders in Mexico and Canada, have become the #1 killer of Americans aged 18 to 45. That means hundreds of thousands of people are dying from this drug. Not only that, we're dealing with an illegal immigrant crisis that's the worst in American history. It might actually be the worst in world history because no other country on earth has open borders like America has had for the past few years. We have tens of millions of people coming into the country illegally, taking up resources that Americans can use, committing crimes, and bringing drugs in. To say that these three things are not happening is just simply to deny reality. And all America is saying now is, hey, since you wanted to kill hundreds of thousands of our citizens, since you wanted to flood our country with tens of millions of illegals, which you facilitated, now you have to pay the consequences.